Cleveland Cavaliers, look folks, they are the winning team in town, and not only are they winning, they're built correctly, built with the young core. Evan Mobley and company playing well. Let's bring in Dennis Manoloff, the D-Man from WTAM 1100. D-Man, I know you've had plenty of great post games after a lot of Cavs victories so far this year. They're 12-10. What have been your general thoughts so far throughout this season on the Cavaliers?
They're the best 12-10 team I've ever seen, and that was meant as a compliment because this team has been ravaged by injuries and illness and is still 12-10 and also has played a wickedly difficult schedule and yet remained above 500. I love basically everything about this team. General manager Kobe Altman has done a fantastic job, and I'm not sitting here saying that I saw it coming. I did not. I thought that coming off the first 3 years of the rebuild post LeBron 2.0, that we could very well be in for a 5, 6, 7 year rebuild. And I was like, oh boy, especially when this season started with 2 losses at Memphis and then home to Charlotte when the Cavs gave up a combined 255 points. I'm like, where's the defense? Oh no, this is trouble. The very next night though, after the Charlotte home opener, the Cavaliers beat the Hawks 101-95, and I went, wow. Because the Hawks with Trae Young had been in the Eastern Conference Finals the year before. Young didn't shoot well. The Hawks shot like 38% from the field. And you sat there and you went, ooh, okay, maybe the Cavs can play defense. Then they go out west, and they punk the Nuggets and the Clippers right out of the gate on their 5-game trip. Then they finished the trip coming back to the East Coast and playing Charlotte and winning that game. So once that trip was over, I said, this team's for real. And they've proven it ever since. They're on a 3-game winning streak now, entering their game against Washington, which should be tough, should be a tough game. But they've won 3 in a row, all by decisive margins. And the first 2 legs of the trip, they blew out Dallas on Monday and they blew out Miami in South Beach on Wednesday. And to win in South Beach for this franchise is incredibly difficult to do. They hadn't done it since 2010. So it's a beautiful mix for this team. It's a young team. It's well coached. It has talent. It has height. It has athleticism. It can shoot a little bit. And, I can't wait for tip-off of the next Cavaliers game.
Well, and D-Man, to add on to that as well, I almost look at it, and I'm not saying that they are this team, but I look at the way that the Golden State Warriors were built up. They were drafted all together, and on top of that, they were predicated on defense early on especially, and it was the fundamentals of basketball that they were really excelling at early on, along with those three-pointers. I look at the way that this Cavs team is built. Obviously, they're not as good shooting the three, but I look at the way that this team is fundamentally sound, looking at the way that they play and the fact that they're young. They were all drafted pretty much outside of a couple of guys, Jared Allen especially too. But, it seems like they've built this up correctly and the way that a lot of these contenders have been able to build up and sustain this success.
Yeah, I like where your mind is, although, as you said, it's going to take a long time before we see if the Cavaliers are ever worthy. These Cavs are worthy of being mentioned in the same sentence as the dynastic Golden State Warriors. But again, I get your point. Kobe Altman in one offseason has been spectacular. And honestly, I'll take it back to the beginning of last season. At the beginning of last season, the Cleveland Cavaliers did not have Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Lauri Markkanen, or Ricky Rubio. Those were the big 4 acquisitions. Of course, Allen came during last season, and then in the offseason, Markkanen from the Bulls, Rubio from the Timberwolves, and Mobley number 3 overall in the draft. The acquisitions of those 4 guys has changed the course of this franchise. There's no question about it. And now all of a sudden, the Cavaliers are taking a different approach to how to win, and that is athletic bigs. I don't know that the NBA has seen and I'm sure it's happened, but I don't recall it, a situation where you can run 3 guys out in a starting lineup, such as the Cavs do with Markkanen when he's healthy and available, and Allen when he's healthy. Of course, when they're all healthy and available. Markkanen, Allen, Mobley. Essentially 3 7-footers. I think Allen's closer to 6'10", and maybe Mobley's 6'11". But the point is, they all look like they're like giants. They have incredible wingspans. Most importantly, they're athletic bigs. These are athletic bigs, meaning they can be versatile. They can help you in so many ways. They're not plotting bigs like an Andre Drummond type. So the Cavs are trying to win with bigs, with tall ball. And I tell you what, so far, they have really bothered opposing offenses. That height, that length, that ability to close out, the ability to hop out. Like, it seems like Evan Mobley's everywhere on the court because he's quick and he's big and he's long. Same with Jarrett Allen. Even when Jarrett Allen is playing a classic post position, he doesn't shoot very much, outside the key. He's still everywhere because of his versatility, because of his quickness. And Markkanen is a sniper, so he can stretch you all the way to the 3-point line. That's what's been, among many other things, so much fun to watch about this team, is the Cavs are trying to win a different way than people expected NBA teams to win in the 21st century.